Hi everyone, this is another installment in my Q&A with Wall Street series. I'm excited to do Rivian automotive stock right now. The EV stock is really popular among investors. So let's go through the question and answer session that Rivian management had with Wall Street on November 9. The first question comes from John Murphy of Bank of America asking about that announcement that you're not going to provide pre-orders anymore. I'm just curious what the motivation is for that. Of course, if you're not aware with Rivian, they've got over, I think, 100 and something thousand pre orders for their vehicles. Management had typically given quarterly updates on that figure, and they just recently announced that they're not going to do that anymore. So this was alarming to investors, and it's no surprise that the first question was regarding that announcement. And the CFO jumps in to answer the question, saying we're really starting to ramp up our production and the deliveries associated with the R1 platform. So we don't feel like it's really a meaningful metric for us to continue to provide overall to the market. The 114,000 unit backlog that they currently have extends us into 2024. Now that's the reason the CFO gave. I'll give you my own skeptical reason that I believe they're not providing that update anymore, because I believe these backlogs could become they could get easily canceled, so customers can cancel these pre-orders, and that will dwindle the backlog, and that will not look good on Rivian stock and the Rivian's prospects. And so it's no coincidence that now is the time they are saying they're not going to release this figure anymore. And in general, anytime I get a sense of less transparency from management, that immediately raises red flags in my mind. I don't want less transparency when I'm investing in a company. I want more transparency. So if anything, I would like more detail into these backlogs, not a complete removal of even announcing these figures. So this is not good news for Rivian stock investors. And John Murphy follows up saying, on the Mercedes joint venture, I wonder if you could give us an update. Of course, Rivian has a partnership with Mercedes, a joint venture. Uh, uh, the Bank of America's analyst wants to know more. And the CEO jumps in, Robert Scaringe, saying, so it's a relationship and a partnership that we're working towards that we think kind of allow both sides to accomplish more together. Okay, thank you for that general statement, but that didn't really provide much of an update to the analyst that was asking the question. And then so John Murphy follows up again, a third question, even though, typically analysts are only supposed to ask two. John Murphy, perhaps dissatisfied with the answers he's gotten so far, throws in a third question, asking about the delta in deliveries versus production. In the most recent quarter, there was a difference between how many cars the company produced and how many it actually delivered. So the analyst wanted to know a little more about that. And the CFO jumps in saying that in the fourth quarter, this will be even worse because they've added a second shift that's coming online and really ramping up production. So you're going to see some differences between when these products are produced and when they are actually delivered, ultimately delivered. All right, moving on to Adam Jonas from Morgan Stanley asks a follow up on reservations. Can you tell us where, give us an update on where you're getting your customers from? What do they currently drive? And this was an interesting question, I thought. Like, yeah, what are people that are buying Rivian cars, what did they used to have? And so the CEO comes in and says they get a diverse set of customers. Certainly, customers are coming from Tesla. Ooh, that's interesting. So people, instead of having a Tesla, they're switching over to Rivian now that, hey, there's another option. For a long time, it used to be Tesla was the only game in town if you wanted a nice electric vehicle, but now there's other choices. Interestingly, but close to 90% do not currently own an EV, meaning most of our customers are new EV customers. So I guess only 10% of their customers are coming out of Teslas if 90% do not currently own an EV. So those that are coming out of EV are coming out of Teslas. That makes sense since Tesla has such a large market share among electric vehicles. It would make sense that they're coming out from Tesla into Rivian. All right, and the final question and answer I will go over is the question coming from Rod Lech from Wolf Research and talking about funding through late 2025 with cash on hand. Of course, Rivian has a healthy cash balance, 14 billion cash on hand, and they've mentioned that they've got enough money to get them ramping production and going all that all the way through 2025. So by late 2025, you will have ramped up the normal manufacturing facility and presumably funded most of the Georgia manufacturing facility. And the CFO jumping in saying what the guidance doesn't include, the guidance that they've got enough money for 2025, what that doesn't include is really much more of the large scale manufacturing build out of our cells, which would follow obviously the develop and build out of our R2 platform as we've spoken about in the past. So those are our core items that I just wanted to call out as you think about the building blocks and roadmap to that cash on hand through 2025. So yeah, they've got a lot of cash on hand, but they're also going through a lot of cash. Boy, are they going through a lot of cash. And so they're saying that they're confident they can sustain their ramp up in output through 2025, but that remains to be seen. For now, they're saying that they're confident that they can. However, that remains to be seen. All right, so that's all I've got for this installment of Q&A with Wall Street featuring Rivian stock. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.